Okay, in this video, I'd like to explain what just happened when I tried to make this video just a couple minutes ago. Pretty extraordinary. When I picked up the phone and hit record, I was looking through the camera on the other side, and all of a sudden a white orb comes zipping around like this in a circular motion, and the video is only 6 seconds long because as soon as it happened, I just hit stop and then I uploaded it right away. So if you want to check that out, it's pretty wild in dealing with all this MH370 orbs and all this stuff going on. There's no coincidences. It's all consciousness, and it's just letting me know that I'm doing the right thing at exactly the right time, because it's all about synchronicity. And when you're doing the right thing at the right time, you get help. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring all this stuff to light, and that it's real, and that it's going on continuously. So tonight, we're going to focus on exactly how they did it electrically. This is coming from Eric Dollard, and he shows you exactly how much that they knew a long time ago before they even tried this whole thing. So let's get into it. Okay, here they're just talking about applying electricity to quartz crystal or limestone or anything. So it starts vibrating to a certain size and shape of quartz, and then you bring it to a resonant frequency. When electrical current is applied to certain conductors, they become hot and emit light. So they're going to give you the scientific equation here with the electron. But we all know that the electron is just falsified stuff. So they say 1 electron moves 3 inches per hour at 1 amp. Radio waves move at 186,000 miles per second. Wavelength is the distance that current travels during one AC cycle. So you got your length in feet as your L, and your V equals your velocity factor, your F equals your frequency in megahertz. So here's what it would look like right here. And some higher up people see my videos, and they're talking about not giving numbers away. Well, here's the numbers right here. I ain't scared. Acting like it's some kind of national secret. So this is what you got going. So there's this thing called the velocity factor. It's determined by a type of conductor. So how many feet would a 5 megahertz signal travel through a conductor with a velocity factor of 0.66 during one AC cycle? So then you would use this, where it's L equals 984 volts divided by F. That's how you do it. L equals 984 times 0.66 divided by 5. So this is what you're coming out with, is that your L equals 129.88 feet. And this would, so they're talking about this thing with air insulated. So you got a parallel conductor that's got 0.975 with a character impedance of 200 to 600. And then you got this spot over here for capacitance per foot. So this is how you figure out this whole thing. Where 1 horsepower equals 746 watts. 1 horsepower equals 550 foot-pounds per second. So like a 70 horsepower Tesla motor would be 52,220 watts. So, okay, I got this thing written down here. What does radar do to radio waves? And this is how a lot of the craft were failing back in the 40s, 50s because of our radars. And they actually asked Lieutenant Colonel Corso to shut down the radars because they were having such problems. And they told him, he had basically asked, what will we get if we shut down our radars? And they basically told him that if we could handle it, then it would happen. So whatever that meant. So there's these things called flux lines with amp turns, and if the core if the core is added to it with more magnetic material, it adds magneto strength. If the core becomes 10 times stronger, the core has a permeability of 10. Permeability is the measure of material's ability to become magnetized. So this is the whole thing. It gets into becoming magnetized or demagnetized. Because if you demagnetize, then you break the Earth's magnetic pole. So, reluctance is the ability of an object resistant to magnetism. So, when you keep adding current flow to an electromagnet, the magnet stops increasing strength and reaches a saturation point. So saturation occurs when all magnetic poles line up. So when you apply electricity to a saturation point, and then that's reached, all the magnetic poles line up, and then when the current is stopped, some residual magnetism remains in the core material. Okay, then you get into this thing called flux density. Flux density is the measurement of magnetic strength. It's represented by phi. It's used to measure flux. B is used to measure the flux density. So here's your flux density, and this is how the equation works. So you got your flux lines divided by your area, and that's what should be equal. So you got this thing called magnetomotive force. It's the total force produced in a magnetic field or flux. Magnetomotive force is MF. So this is your calculation on how you would get this magneto force measured in pole pounds. So I'll let you look at these equations here. So it's saying that 1 pound is equal to 4.448 newtons. Weber measures magnetic flux lines where one, I'm not even sure what this number is, so 6. I'll let you look at this equation. 100 million lines of flux, is that what it says there? So this AC current, okay, when AC reverses current, it can be a square wave produced using a single pole double throw switch connected to 2 batteries. The oscillator produces square waves. So here's the diagram. The AC sine wave produced by all rotating machines, 360 electrical degrees. This is how your whole operation's working. And if it reaches a peak positive voltage at 90 degrees, 360 degree spin equals 1 cycle. The frequency is the number of complete cycles in 1 second. Frequency is measured in hertz. Household current does this 60 times in 1 second. So here's your diagram on how this whole thing's working. We ain't playing around here. These are dollars. So then you get in this thing called the synchronous motor, 3-phase.
It's not an induction motor. It will operate at a constant speed, full load to no load. It must have a DC battery excitation to operate. It will operate at the speed of the rotating magnetic field. Wound pieces or magnets become electromagnets. The current is applied through 2 slip rings on a rotor shaft. Okay, so this is basically how Mike Merkham created his time machine using his Jacob's ladder principle. This is kind of what he went to. So he had all these electromagnets stacked like plates, and that's how he was using his whole new system. So the current is applied through 2 slip rings on the rotor shaft. A synchronous motor must never be started with DC connected to the rotor. Okay, so if you knew the exact amount of mass divided by energy in the place you wanted to jump to, then you could delete that spot and basically replace it with the weight, area, mass of your craft. But first you'd have to remote view the area before you jump to it to avoid hitting anything. So you'd almost have to have 2 systems in place, is what I'm thinking on this. So you got hydrogen, that's the most explosive known element, and it's just all around us. And you just have to think about different ways of creating this whole deal. So that's probably where we're gonna wrap it up tonight. It's been a wild one with that orb flying through right when I started the video before. So like I said, it's all about getting to this point of saturation to get it to blast. So that's gonna be the next video on how you do it, because if you go back to my videos with Ed Lead Scanlon and the PMH, I show you exactly what a DC blast does. And that's what they're doing. They're just building up enough juice in the object, and then it can only handle so much, and then the cup overflows basically, and you get a different condition than what you started with. So thanks for watching. If you haven't seen my other videos, please check them out. Have a good one.